Alright, so we have a 2001 Polaris Scrambler 50 here. So the problem that we're currently having with this is we start it up, it starts up just fine, runs just fine for the first couple minutes, and then it won't hold an idle, and if you try to hit the gas, it kind of bogs down. I'm hoping what I'm going to try is to just pull the carburetor and clean it out real good and see if that'll fix it. Right now, as you can see, I have the front plastics all pulled off and handlebars and kind of a mess. I pulled the plastic off while I was doing this to fix these broken tabs. I put some epoxy and wire mesh to try to fix those. But anyways, the real problem is, you know, we just can't keep it running. So we're gonna try that. We're gonna pull the carb and see what happens. So here's the four-wheeler. When I first started up, runs fine, kind of loud here in the garage. Yeah, it idles fine. Starts right up. But then, as you can see, after a few minutes of running, try to give it any gas, and it just dies out. I mean, so that's the problem I'm having. Is it starts and runs fine for a few minutes, and then you know, just won't hold an idle and dies out. So as I'm pulling this, you know, went ahead and took the airbox off. As I'm pulling out the carburetor here, you can see this bowl line is just completely soaked with oil and gas, and the bottom, the bottom of the carburetor here is just, I mean, just really wet with oil and gas. Not so much the top, so we'll see. You know, maybe it's a gasket in there, I don't know, but I just wanted to show that. You know, as I was taking it out, I noticed very wet under here. Alright, so I have the carburetor pulled out, taken apart. I need to clean everything out, pull it apart, but I did notice this this gasket along here. Like I said before, when I was taking it out of the four-wheeler, the fuel bowl, you know, you can still see it's almost looks like gas was leaking out. So I'm thinking, I don't see where it's ripped or torn anywhere. However, you know, if it's the original one, I'll probably replace this gasket just to make sure it's sealing well. I guess that could be the problem. It runs fine when the choke, and it does have the automatic choke. I don't know how well it works, but it could be that when the choke's on, it's running fine, and then we're you know, start sucking air when the choke kicks off, and that's when it's stalling out and bogging down when you try to hit the throttle. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. Like I say, that gasket, I'm going to try to find a replacement if I can. So I cleaned up the carburetor, sprayed it all down. As you can see, I believe it's the main jet hole. There, the small hole. I could see through it when I pulled this out. I could see through it somewhat. I did use a copper wire and cleaned everything out, and now you can really, you know, it's you can see through it a lot better. I think there was some gunk in there, so that may have been causing the problem. I also cleaned out the jets themselves. That probably won't focus very well. Yeah, there you go. So I cleaned those out and just cleaned everything up real good. So I'm gonna wipe it all down and clean it up. And I still don't have the gasket, but I may just try to put it back together and see what happens with everything all cleaned up. So there you go. There's another shot of it. So as I'm looking at all these parts here, I pulled up a diagram, and it looks like the air adjust and the fuel adjust pins here should have an O-ring and a washer. At least that's what the diagram's showing. So I'm missing a washer on one of these, and as you can see, this O-ring is pretty deteriorated around the edge. This one still looks good. That one not so much. So I found a small washer that I have here that I'm going to try. And I also have a bag of old O-rings, and I'm going to try to find one that fits. I may end up just getting a kit or a new carburetor. They're probably not that expensive, but I might try to put it back together using one of these old O-rings and just a washer that I have to see if it makes it run better. Okay, so I couldn't find an O-ring that would fit. So there's the old one. I did, however, have some old fuel line, pretty close, the same diameter. The outer diameter, the inner diameter fit just fine. So that's what I have installed these with. Is there's an O-ring on one, and I can't find the other one now. There we go. And then I put just the small piece of fuel line. Can you see them there? On the other. So probably not a permanent fix, but I just want to see if the carburetor itself is the problem before I go buy a new one. Okay, so we got it all put back together. It's been running for a while. Seems like we fixed the problem. Again, I didn't rebuild the carburetor probably correctly. You know, in place of one of those O-rings, I used a small piece of a fuel line. You know, I just cut off a small piece. I didn't replace the gasket. I think the leak that we seen before down here maybe was coming from that O-ring that was kind of all torn up. So I'll probably end up buying a proper rebuild kit with gaskets and everything and go ahead and rebuild this. But you know, for now it seems to be working. So anyways, hope this helps somebody if they're having these problems. So we got it all put back together. Mason, my oldest son, helped me put all the plastic back on, and so shout out to him. And I think I'm gonna go get him, and he might ride this around for you guys. Okay, here's Mason. He's gonna give us a test ride for us. Okay, so it seems to be running alright. I might have to play with the fuel air mixture. Seems to be running good so far.
Huh? Yeah.
Alright, see you guys.